Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News Extra. And today we have Allie Berggren, who's the Director of Volunteers and Friends at Regional West Medical Center. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, volunteers, even though the hospital has, almost 2,000 employees, volunteers are a large component of what Regional West has to offer. And we have an event coming up. Tell us a little bit about this open house for volunteerism.
Yeah, so next Thursday, January 31st, we'll be hosting an open house. It's kind of a volunteer recruitment open house for people to come if they'd be interested in volunteering at the hospital.
Okay. And it's going to run, it's going to run the 31st from 10 until 2, so 4-hour window in the middle of the day. And if somebody is interested in volunteering when they get there, what can they expect to see?
Okay. Well, it'll be in the education center at the hospital, and it's going to be more of a come and go format. So people can come. I'll have current volunteers there that people can visit with and learn more about different opportunities and scheduling and stuff like that. And then if they want, we'll have application packets on site for them to take, and they can apply right then and there.
So it's real easy.
Super easy.
And now are the volunteer opportunities that are available, are they generally set times, or do they kind of span the gamut from morning up until into the evenings? How does it generally work?
Well, for the overhaul, we have 2 shifts. We have an 8 to noon and a noon to 4 shift.
Okay.
But then we have some outlier services that we provide that have more flexible hours to them.
Okay. And of course, if somebody wants to, are there any requirements as far as being a volunteer?
Well, part of the application, did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
Okay, part of the application process is they have to go through just like an employee would.
Okay.
So they go through a background check. They go through they have to meet all the occupational health requirements. They have to get a flu shot. And then once we get all that processed, then we can get them into the positions that they desire and get them going.
Fantastic. So we're going to come back in just a moment and talk a little bit more in detail about some of these volunteer opportunities that are available at Regional West. We'll be right back. And we're back on News Extra, and our guest this morning is Allie Berggren, who's the Director of Volunteers and Friends at Regional West. And again, thank you very much for joining us today. We're talking about the Volunteer Recruitment Open House that's coming up January 31st. From 10 until 2, it's at the Regional West Education Center, which is second floor, if I remember correctly. Now, volunteers play a very significant role in the hospital. What specific opportunities do people have if they want to volunteer their time?
Well, a lot of you, when you visit Regional West, you'll notice we have information desks at almost every door. And those are staffed by volunteers. So our volunteers are very critical in greeting our guests, making sure they get to where they need to be, and giving them information about the hospital. So a lot of times, first face you might see at Regional West is a volunteer. And then we have volunteers in the gift shop our gift shop is 99.9% run by volunteers.
Yep.
And then we have volunteers at the rehab center. We have volunteers with hospice and home health. And so we just kind of have volunteers all over the Regional West community. So.
And I was wondering about that as far as opportunities outside the hospital itself. And obviously hospice is one of those things that now with the ancillary services that you have, say, at Regional West, Garden County, places such as that, are there volunteer opportunities in those communities as well outside of the Scottsbluff-Gehring area?
That's a great question. And I was just in Garden County a couple of weeks ago and I asked about that. And I don't have volunteers that fall directly under my leadership, but they do have local volunteers that come in and help out in the smaller communities.
Okay.
And
so if somebody's interested in volunteering in those places, they do need to contact those facilities like Regional West Garden County.
Yeah. Or they could always contact me and I can get them in touch with the right people.
Yeah, and it's just who you need to find out the information from and then get that passed on correctly.
Exactly.
Now, we don't have any specific statistics on the number of volunteers that take place throughout the course of a year, but it's a lot, and they put in a lot of hours. Generally, are volunteers, do they tend to be of any age group or retired or something like that? Does that seem to be usually more what you see?
That's the stereotype, so to speak, but I'm in the process of building a student-based volunteer program. And so I've been bringing on quite a few high school students because they, need to volunteer to get credit hours for different organizations, or B, the parents like them to volunteer to keep them out of trouble. So we have all ages, all races, all abilities. We have a really nice variety of volunteers.
And kind of going along with that, is there, this is something that has been in place. It's not recent. It's been around for quite a while as far as the volunteer corps, if you will, for Regional West. Go back to
1950.
Western Nebraska General Hospital, if I remember the correct name of it from way back when. So it's been around quite a while, and it's almost a tradition here for this hospital.
It is. It is. And the Volunteers and Friends of Regional West actually has a board of directors, and we have annual meetings and general meetings. So it is a nonprofit organization, and it is held in very high regards.
Yep, it certainly is. And let's go back to the open house that's coming up. Give us the details on that again.
Okay. It's on January 31st. That's next Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's in the Regional West Education Center, and the format is a come and go. Come get information from current volunteers. You can stay as long as you want. You can just come real quick and leave. Of course, there will be snacks and drinks provided always. And take some time to visit with our current volunteers and learn more about what it'd be like to be a volunteer for Regional West.
Yeah, so if you happen to have the time and the inclination and the ability to do so, volunteer opportunities abound at Regional West Medical Center. Allie, thank you very much for joining us today.
Appreciate it.